get money, stay high. Go to YouTube for story time with Ray Vibe. We say he's a great guy.
What is good, Vibe Gang? It is your boy Ray here with another story time with Ray. I was gonna do the story about the first time I had to deal with no hot water, but I forget that I already said that on my first time in Dominican Republic video. So, but I got one for you. This is one of the times I got locked up for a very, literally it was 20. It was a very short period that I got locked up. It was the dumbest fucking thing. Like, I can't believe that I was. So I'm like 14, 15 years old, right? And I think I was on my way to my boy's. My boy wanted me to go to his crib for something. And I was like, yeah, I'm on my way. And at this time, I had money, but my money was already accounted for. My money was already going to something else. So I was so bad at money management that the only money that I had in my pocket is for that one thing that I can't spend money on, that I can't use it for anything else. But I need to get to my man's crib. So I go, and it's a fucked up story. I go to the J train, and I'm looking around to see if I see any undercover. Any DTs behind the door, looking through the blinders and seeing if anybody's jumping the turnstile. So I'm like sitting there for, I could say a good solid 15 minutes, just peeping my eye, making sure that ain't nobody looking at anything, so I could just run and wait for the train to come. Because my logic was, I'm going to wait for the train to come. Once the train comes, I know that I have a short amount of time to get from point A to inside of that train. And all I got to do is take this train all the way one stop. Not one stop, but it was like, put it straight ahead. I don't got to transfer trains. I don't got to do nothing. All I got to do is go straight over there. Take care of what I need to take care of, make a money move, then I'll have the money to get back. That was what my mind frame was. I have the money to get it back, but I need to use this to get what I need to get. So I jump on my, I trust me, I tried everything. I called my boy. He couldn't do it because he had a car. And I was just like, all right, I want to make sure that I try to do this as quick as possible and as fast as possible. So I had to go jump the turnstile. I jump it. Run up the stairs. I have my arm in the train. I'm talking about one step more, I could hold on to the pole that they have in the train. One more step, and I was already there. And all I feel is somebody grab me from the back and in the book bag. So I'm losing my mind and all that. And he was like, yo, what are you doing? This, that, and the third. And in my mind, I'm like, thank God I didn't have anything on me but money. Because I could have been majorly fucked. So I'm like, okay. I got bagged. Keep it cool. Everything will be fine. Everything's gravy. Takes me in, asks for my ID. I don't have a driver's license. I had my school ID, and I think I had my state ID with me. So I gave him all the information that he needed. He put the cuffs on me, took me in. He took me to the station that was literally probably 4 blocks away from my mom and my dad's. I was underage. They called my parents. My parents pretty much said, hey, you deal with him however you need to deal with him. So he was like, all right, cool. They were gonna take me. They took me to bookings. They took me to do all that stuff. They checked the bag. They saw the money. And they asked me, of course, they questioned me about the money. And I was just like, that money was my money. I worked at a tattoo shop. And I sweep the floors and answer calls and shit like that, and they pay me under the table. What's the tattoo shop? I don't know. I don't know the name of it. I didn't give them anything that they needed. There's none of your business. I got my money because I got my money. It is not illegal for me to have this money on me, sir. You giving me bullshit, I was giving him bullshit right fucking back. Like that, you're not gonna get me in anything, so don't even try. And you shouldn't be questioning me right now either. He's like, what do you mean? I was like, you can't question me. Like I'm a minor. You can't question me without my freaking parents around. Oh, if I tell your parents, like, good luck, they're not gonna come over here. They're not gonna come over here and they're not gonna do any of the bullshit. So it's on you. That's the gist of the attitude that I was giving him. Maybe not the exact words, but that's the gist of what I was telling this cop. So he got me in the room. My parents showed up. My mom showed up. When my mom showed up, she gave them the right to question me, whatever they needed to question me with. So I'm sitting there, and it's my mom in another room watching all this happen, and then I think it was like 2 or 3 detectives, or no, it was 2 in the beginning, and then a third one came in towards the end. And I sit there, and they're asking me about the money. They're asking me there was a string of robberies around my area and everything like that, and some money was taken from registers and yada 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 and shit like that. And I was like, oh, I know nothing about that. And they're like, well, we're trying to make this a little bit easier for you. We don't want to get you in trouble as much as you're already in. And they're trying to play nice cop with me and bullshit like that. And I'm like, I can't tell you anything about no robberies, about nothing, because I know nothing. I was there for probably an hour and a half, 2 hours of them questioning me. And the initial charge was pretty much me jumping the turnstile. That was the initial charge. And I think they would have let me go if they didn't open up the book bag and saw the money. That's the reason why they took me in, because that was a lot of money for a kid like me to have, yada, 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 and all this other shit. So they took me in. If it was a fucking train set, like, I'm pretty sure they would have probably, like, gave me, like, a scare handcuff situation and probably would have let me go just to scare me not to do it anymore. But since he opened up my bag, because the first thing I did was grab my bag and like grab it, like, don't touch. Like, I made it seem like, don't get off my fucking bag type shit. So it was, I think that's what made him look inside the bag and all that shit. So got me in there. They're talking to me. I'm not giving them anything that they're looking for. And they were like, well, maybe if we keep you overnight, maybe your story will change, and maybe you can tell us something about these robberies that's going around. And then they started bringing, the whole, we know your parents, and we know they took you to Catholic school, and you know what's right from wrong. And I'm over here in my mind, I'm like, how am I getting busted for something that I didn't do when I was on my way to do something that I shouldn't be doing? And I'm like, I'm getting arrested for the wrong shit. Like, in my mind, I'm like, I'm all messed up. And I'm like, okay. I stood shut for the rest of the whole time they questioned me. I couldn't give them anything because they were legitimately just talking about that. They were not talking about nothing else. And I couldn't give them any information. So it's not like, it ain't no street code shit. It's like, bro, I can't give you anything. Even though I wanted to, I can't give you shit. So you're wasting your fucking time. But they were not going to get nothing out of me, even if I did know who the fuck robbed those motherfuckers. But I ain't going to tell. Are you crazy? Are you nuts? You think these motherfuckers did not see me get locked up? Them knowing what I know? Get the fuck out of here, bro. Like, are you nuts? So, no. They took me in. And they took me into this, like, holding cell or some shit like that. It was inside the precinct. They put me inside the holding cell. And I'm sitting there for, it was like, at this point, 6-7 hours already. Since the time of arrest until where I'm at in the story. And I'm there for like good 7 hours. Door opens. Cop calls my name. I walk forward. I was in there with like 2 other dudes. There was one kid crying. There was another kid that was like the tough dude. And I'm just sitting there like, this motherfucker think I flaked on him. Like that's the only thing I don't worry about. Like, how am I going to get that money back? That's what was going through my head. Like, how am I gonna get that money back? How am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? And how I'm gonna make this work with everything that's going on? It's too late now. He's already expecting me. I'm not gonna be there, obviously, because I'm already fucking 7 hours late. So so much shit going on through my fucking head. Then I'm just like, bro. And then now my mom and my dad are not gonna let me out the fucking house, even if they did let me go. It's like, now it's some bullshit. They kept me out. They give me an envelope, a manila envelope, and this is the weirdest shit in the world. They get me out the cell. They take me into a room. That room, there's a guy sitting behind a desk. He asks for my name. I give it to him. He asks for my birthday. I give it to him. He asks for my social security number, and I give him the last four. That's the only thing that I know. Is the last four. That's the only thing I memorize. I know it now, but I give him the last four of my social. They gave me my manila envelope that had the money in it. Had my house key, had my ID, had my wallet, had everything in it. And I walked out the door. When I walked out the door, there was nobody there. The cop just ushered me out. There was no one there to pick me up or do anything. So I'm like, how the fuck did I get out? They didn't tell me anything. They just told me, the only thing that they did tell me was they were going to give me a ticket that I had to get to my parents for jumping the turnstile. And they did give me that ticket. And then I'm sitting there like, okay, cool. No court date, no, I don't got to do none of that shit. It's just like, so I was all confused and lost and didn't know what the fuck was going on. I make it home. Give my mom the paperwork and everything. Give her the ticket. It was like $100 and something bucks or some shit like that for the ticket. And I didn't make my mom pay for it. I told her that I was going to come up with some type of money to pay for it. And then I waited like 2 days and I gave her the money to do it. So it was one of those situations that I was just like, what were they really looking for? And then sitting back and thinking about it, and it was obvious what they were looking for. They were looking to see, okay, this kid doesn't give a fuck about even paying a toll. So maybe we could get something out of him, and maybe he knows something about, because we know that he's around these dudes, and we know that he knows information that might be useful to us. So let's go ahead and give him a hard time. You know what I found out? After like a year or two after this whole thing happened, I find out that all they really had to do there is just give me a ticket. I didn't have to get booked. I didn't have to get my mom or my parents called in. I didn't have to, none of that had to happen. All he had to do was give me the ticket, and that's it. But he did it. So that shows you what type of shit the type of shit New York City was back in those fucking days. That was the first legitimate time that I got arrested. The other time that I got arrested, it was a little bit more. It's a little longer story than that, and I'll leave that for another day. But it was a confusing time in my life, and it was crazy. It was nuts. But I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a short story, but I think that was a good one to restart this thing. And I know I haven't been active on here. Like I said in my other video, that if you follow me on YouTube, on the Vibe Reaction page, like I said, it's hard to come up with scenarios, and it's hard to come up with those situations. And if my brain is not like really focused on just doing what I'm doing, I'm not gonna be able to use my brain to come up with anything. So it's hard. So that's why I'm gonna stick to these stories a little bit, my personal life, because they're easier to tell, because it's not made up. It's things that actually happened to me. So these are a little bit easier to tell you guys. But when on the fan fiction one, I'm trying to do big things with that. So I'm trying to get the editing process and everything perfect. But I do have a couple of them are coming. But I have to edit them, and I have to get them all done up and sent to you. So there's a couple of fictional ones that I'll let you know. I'll keep you in suspense, and I'll let you guys know little by little which ones I'm doing once I start posting the thumbnails and everything. So I love you guys so much. Thank you all for the love and support. I should be live right now. If I'm not, I'm going to be. But I love all of you guys. Thank you guys so much. And I talk to you guys later. Peace.
Get money, stay high. Go to YouTube for story time with Ray Vibe. We say he's a great guy.